Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we will learn about minimal APIs using ASP.NET Core. So minimal APIs were introduced in .NET 6 to make building HTTP APIs faster, simpler and with less boilerplate code. By the end of this session, you will be able to create and understand a working API from scratch. So alright, before we dive in, here is what we are going to cover in this today's video. First, we'll do a quick introduction to minimal APIs and why they are so powerful. Then we will see what are prerequisites for creating minimal web API. Then we'll break down the core methods you need to know, that is map get, map post, map put, and map delete. Then next we'll jump into live coding examples so you can see these in action. After that, we will see advantages and limitations of minimal web APIs. By the end of this video, you will have clear understanding of minimal APIs and be ready to start building your own endpoint. Now, what is minimal API? A minimal API is a simplified way to build APIs in ASP.NET Core. Unlike traditional MVC controllers, minimal APIs allow us to define endpoints directly in program.cs file. This reduces complexity and improves development speed. Now, when should we use minimal APIs? Minimal APIs are ideal when you want something quick and clean. They are commonly used in microservices, prototypes, and lightweight backend services. For very large enterprise apps, MVC may still be preferred. Now, what are the prerequisites for creating minimal web APIs? To follow along, make sure you have .NET SDK installed, which is of version 6 or later. Any editor like Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code will work. And you should have a basic understanding of C Sharp for creating this web APIs. Now I'm currently using .NET 10. I'll add URL of .NET 10 in description box if you need installation of .NET then to follow all the steps which I am doing. Now these are the methods which we will be using in minimal web API. So first is map get. It is used to create endpoint that only handles get request. Then map post creates an endpoint that only handles post request. Map put and map delete creates endpoint for put and delete request respectively. Then map method creates an endpoint that handles multiple HTTP methods. Then next is map controller route, map area controller route. Used to configure MVC or Razor Pages controllers. And last is map fallback to file, used to specify a default file to serve when no other endpoints matches. So now let's create a minimal API project. I'll show you a live example how to create it and like what will be the structure of web APIs and how to run it. So let's see. All right. Now let's create a hands-on project for minimal web API and see how it works step by step. So for minimal web API, we need to create ASP.NET Core Web API project. So here right side, we need to click create new project. So here I am getting this option because this is my recent project template. But if you are not getting this, you can go here and search Web API. So this first template is using C Sharp and RESTful Web API. We need to use this template for creating minimal API. So I'm selecting this and clicking on next. Now give any name to your project, Web API demo, and select your path. Over here I'm just creating a folder that is working, and I'm giving this path. So in this folder, my project will be created. Now click on next. So here you can see I'm using .NET 10, but you can use any version which is greater than .NET 6, greater than or equal to .NET 6. So minimal web APIs are started from .NET 6, so you can take any version, but just make sure that you are installing all the packages and everything according to your version. So you can see after some time which packages we need to install and all, so that you need to choose according to your .NET framework version. So currently I'm using .NET 10, and these things I'm keeping as it is, and I'll click on create. Okay, now our project got created. I'm using Visual Studio 26, so you can see some of the options and look and feel is a bit different, but that's fine. Whichever version you are using, just make sure you are using .NET Framework 6 or greater version of that. So now let's create minimal web APIs. So for that, first we need to add some of the packages which we require for creating minimal web APIs with SQL Server. So here we'll be using SQL Server database and entity framework, and I will also show how to configure Swagger in the same video. So now first what we'll do is we'll add some of the packages. So what you need to do is right click on your project and manage Nugget package, and here we need to search whatever packages are required. So first I am installing entity framework core, so we need to add this. So you can see I am using latest stable version which is 10.0.1. So .NET 10 supports this version, but if you are using .NET 10 or lesser version than that, so you need to open this drop down and select version according to your .NET version. Now after this we need to install SQL Server. So this is entity framework core SQL Server. For SQL connection and all we need this package. So I'm installing that also. And then we need entity framework tools as well. So we'll be using code first approach. So for that we need to run some commands in package manager console. So we need these tools as well. So I installed these three packages. Now what we'll do is we'll create a DB context class first, or we'll create model first and then we'll create DB context class. So what I'm doing is I'm adding new folder model, and in that I'll create a model class. So class, so student. So we'll do a whole CRUD operation for student with minimal web API. So I'm adding student class. So first int ID, then we need string first name, then last name, then we need a mobile number. Just three, four properties, any properties you can add. I'm just writing like this. Okay, and maybe email also we can add. String email. That's it. Okay, so you are getting this error. So what does it say is this is non-nullable property, and it must contain a non-null value. So that we can make it nullable by assigning string.empty. So it will suppress this error. Warning. Sorry. So sorry. String.empty. I just copy paste it to save the time. Now we have installed all the dependencies related to .NET entity framework. Now also we created student class. Now what we need to do is add DB context class. So what I'm doing is I'm adding one more folder, data. In this folder I'll create a DB context class. So class, and I'll add, sorry, maybe student DB context. You can give any name. Now, for DB context class, it's mandatory to inherit it from DB context inbuilt class. So I added DB context. Now we need to create its constructor student DB context. In this DB context options, we need to pass options and base. So it is auto suggesting some of the properties. That's fine. Now what we need to do is we have created new class student, right? So we need to add that into DB set. So what DB set means, it will create table with the same name in our database. Once we'll run migration, right? So it will create table with this name. Sorry, this name student. So I am adding DB set here. Now our DB context class is created. All the installation is done. We can see we have done all these installations. Now what we need to do is we need to add connection string for our database. Okay, so we need to add connection string in app setting.json. So I have copied my connection string here. So I'll just take as it is. So I'll explain what does this mean. So, so this. So now this is my server name, laptop 6 and something. This is my server name. I am creating a database with maybe two student sample I'll create, and this trusted connection true I am keeping, and trust server certification true I am keeping. Now what we need to do is, now our connection string is done. Student DB context has created, student entity created, and we have also added packages which are required for entity framework. Okay, so all this is done. Now what we need to do is we need to add our connection string in program.cs file. So what we need to do is, above add controllers, builder dot services dot add db context, and here we need to give our db context class name, and now we need to pass options, and here options dot use sql, use builder dot. So we need to fetch our connection string from configuration. Like previously we added it in app settings.json, right? So we need to fetch it from there. So we are fetching builder.configuration.get connection string, and we have to pass connection string name here, which we use there. So here you can see we named it as default connection. You can give any name here, maybe like student connection or anything, but I'm using it as a default connection. Whatever name you are giving here, that should come here. Okay, so I added it here. We're missing one closing bracket. Okay, now our connection string is added. Now what we need to do is run the migration. So you can open package manager console from here also you can open, or from tools you can open. What we need to do is now add hyphen migration. This will add our entity into migration. So I'm giving it as a initial commit. Any name you can give. Now build has started. Add DB context. Let me check what is this error. Okay, I got it. We don't need to specify this type here because we are already in constructor. So that's why we are getting this error. So I have removed it now. What we'll do is we'll run this command again. And now build is succeeded. No, again we are getting error. Let me check it again. DB context. Okay, okay. We need to add these options to base also because we are using DB context base class. So to that also we need to give this option. That means which SQL, which database we are using and all. That options need to be passed to DB context class as well. So I am passing it to base also. And now I'm running the command again. Okay, now our migration is successful. So you can see whenever we run any migration, two methods are there, up and down. That means which which are the new script we are pushing to database and what we are taking down from database. So you can see we are creating new table here. So that is newly added. So now our migration is created, but we need to update. If you can go and to database and see, like there is no database with the name. Okay, you can see there is only student and student data, but what we are using is student sample is our database name. That is not yet created. That means our migration has not yet updated database. So to update database, what we need to do is run update database command. And now it will update this script to database. Now you can see script is running. Okay, now it is successful. If you go to database and refresh databases, you can see student sample has been created. Okay, so now our database creation is successful. Now what we'll do is now we'll start with creating minimal web APIs. So now for that we'll first add one simple method and see if it's working or not. App dot mapgate, just run anything. I'm just creating one delegate function and let's say hello. And when I'll run this application, it should print hello on this like direct port. So our port is 5266. So I'm just running our application. So let's run and see if it's working fine. Localhost swagger and it's 5266, right? 5266. Okay, it's not working because we have not yet any like implemented Swagger in our program.cs. So let's directly see. Because now you can see here it's printing hello because here on direct on the root path we have implemented this mapget function, so it's printing hello. So this is working fine. So now first add Swagger in our program.cs and we can then write other methods. Now we will configure Swagger first and then we will see how to write other APIs. So for Swagger first we need to install Nugget package which is Swashbuckle. So let's add that. So we need to install this swashbuckle.ASP.NET Core package. So I'm selecting project and installing it. Okay, now installation is done. Now what we need to do is in program.cs file, we need to first add all the endpoints in Explorer, build.services dot add endpoint explorer, and then add swaggergen builder.services dot add swaggergen. Okay, and now what we need to do is we need to show all the URLs. Now this will get metadata of all the endpoints, like API endpoints which we have, and this will add Swagger in pipeline. Now what we need to do is if environment is development, we need to show Swagger UI. So what we need to do, if app.environment.is development, so we need to use Swagger, and then also we need to use Swagger UI. Swagger UI. Okay. So now we'll run this application and see what is the output. So first, for running this, we need to run it in HTTPS because uh, like Swagger is supported in HTTPS. So now, if you go to launch setting, we'll see what is our HTTPS port. It is 5266 and 7191. So I'll use 7191. From here, some issue with that. Here's localhost, Swagger, and the output. HTTPS, we need to use HTTPS, not HTTP. So because it is HTTP, it's not rendering. Okay. Now on HTTPS port, our API is getting. If you can see this with slash, which we have created here, right? On the like root, we have added one API. It should print hello. So let's test that API. If we can try it out and see the output, you can see in response we are getting hello. Okay, so now our Swagger has been configured properly. Now we will write our other APIs for minimal API demo. Okay, so first we'll write map get method for like getting all students. Till now we have not created any student, right? So we'll create it from here only. So first write map get, and we'll test it later once we have like created map post method. So get students, sorry for the spelling, get students, comma, and we need to pass the required parameters. So it should be a sync method, and we need to get all students. So we don't need any student objects. We will just create a db context object, student db context, and we'll here we'll return, because we are using a sync, we are awaiting db context dot students. Okay, and we need to make it to list async. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, now this is our like it's so simple, right? Just in 2 lines of code, we have created the get students method. Like for avoiding confusion, I'll just write get all students. Now we'll just create a post method. Map post, and here add student. And for adding new student, we need a object of student, right? So async, and I'll create one student object, student, student, and student db context object to add. So we need to add reference to student, just a control dot. Put semicolon here. And now we will add the student object in dot add async. We need to add student, and then we need to save changes. Await dp context dot save changes async. Okay, so here also we need to use await. Okay, so before testing this, first let's create all the endpoints and then we'll test all at once. So now first we'll create a map get for get student by id. So I'm writing get student by id, and we need to pass id as well. And for parameters sync, we need id and the db context object. So student db context, db context. Okay. Now what we need is we need to fetch this one student which is of that specific id. So we'll return await db context dot students dot where the dot id is equal to id. Okay, and now we'll get only one student data. Now what we need is we done with all students, add get. We'll do delete now. So add dot map delete, delete student, and it is also for some specific id. So I'm passing that, and here we need to pass int id, and we need db context, student db context. Okay, now first we need to fetch student, then validate if that student is valid, and then we'll delete it. So what we'll do is first we'll fetch the student, db context dot students dot find async, and we'll find one student of that specific id. Now here we will get that student. We need to check first if it is null. If student is equal to null, then what we'll do is we'll return not found, results dot not found. And now if it is not null, so what we need to do is we need to remove that student, db context dot students dot remove, and use that student object. Now we need to save these changes. Await db context dot save changes async, and return results dot maybe okay because it was successfully deleted. Okay, here we are getting error because we are not using remove async. So, or here, or we can solve it like this. So we need await, we need to use await then because we are using async here. Okay, now this is delete student is done. Now we will write update student map put, and this is update student, and this is also async and id. We also need object to update, so updated student, and also we need db context object, student db context. Okay, now again we need to first fetch the record and then check if it is null and then update. So I'll copy these two lines from here because we need to follow the same process here as well. And now we got student, right? So in this student we need to update like updated student value, student dot first name is equal to updated student, student dot last name equal to updated student dot last name, then student dot mobile number is equal to again, and student dot email is equal to email. Okay, and now we need to save these changes, save changes as seen, and return result. Okay, and also we can pass updated student id, updated student object. Okay, now all our like get, post, put, and delete, all our APIs are done. Now we will test these API. So just run the application. Now it's building. Let's refresh it. Now all our configured API are here. First we'll run get all because we have not yet created any. It should return it as empty. And also we'll test our SQL connection is successful. Okay, our connection is successful. You can see in response body there is like no data because we have not yet created any student. So let's first create it, try it out, and we need to pass the object id. You can keep it 0 because id will automatically generate it. So I'll just put my name, any number. We have not added any validation, so I am not validating data. So just random data I'm putting. Okay, and now execute. Now it should add our student. Okay, now you can see in response we have got 200. That means our student has been created. Now again we'll run all student and see. Okay, now we are getting a newly created student in this response. Okay, now we tested get all students and add student. We'll add one more student. Let's say we give any name like John, and I'll just change it. Okay, and let's execute it. Okay, now for this also we got 200. That means we created two students here. Execute, we are getting two students. Okay, now let's first test get student by id. Try it out. I'll pass id to here. I should get second record which we created. Okay, now we are getting it correctly. Okay, so now let's try to first I'll test update and then delete. Okay, id is 2. I want to update second id. So John. Instead of this, I want to give last name as Doe or John one here. Any mobile number and email johnv at gmail.com. Okay, and let's test this also. Okay, now we got success 200. Now let's test it. Get student by ID, login for two. Okay, our record is updated in database. Okay, so now lastly, let's test delete API. Two. We got success here also. And now let's test it. Like I'll run get all students again. Okay, now our student got deleted. Okay, so all the four APIs are working fine. So this was all CRUD operation with minimal web APIs. Now let's see some of the advantages and limitations of minimal web APIs. So if you see the advantages of minimal API, it is very less code. You can see in just 15 to 20 lines, we wrote all the four CRUD operations. So minimal APIs reduces boilerplate and improves readability. They are fast, modern, and works with great work great with cloud native applications. Also, it provides high performance and it is very easy to learn. Now, if we can see some of the limitations of it, while powerful minimal APIs may not be the best fit for very large applications that require strict separation of concern. So if we write everything into program.cs, it won't work, right? It's very hard to read and it is not well structured. So for large applications, this is a disadvantage. Now, if we can see overall summary, what we have learned. So we built a complete API using minimal code, and this shows how efficient and elegant minimal web APIs can be. So thank you for watching. If you value this content, please like, share, and subscribe for future updates. And let me know in comment what topic you would like to learn next. So yeah. Thank you.